Hi everybody, welcome back to SAM1 Bird Products. Now today's episode is all about assessing the first round youngsters. So let's get stuck in. Okay, so this episode is all about the first round youngsters from the start of this breeding season. Now I do apologise if you've watched the episode before where it's quite a long one. It's called The Worst Start Ever. Now that episode basically explained everything to do with why things haven't gone to plan initially and also the great time that was had in Texas. So it's worth a watch, it's just a little bit long. I do apologise about that. So anyone that did watch it all the way through, thanks a lot. So coming back to this episode, it's all about the first round. Now, as I say, we've had a bad start. Mainly that's due to a few factors, being that pairing up in November instead of the start of September. Another factor was there's two large flights here on the front, and a month before pairing up, usually cocks in one, hens in the other, condition them up and then pair up. They didn't get separated, they didn't get conditioned, and they were 2 months late. So these three main factors have created less fertility and a slow start. But we've bred some chicks, changed a few things around, started pairing up some of the colour budgerigars. None of those were paired up initially. They breed like mad. The bloodline and the family that I've created with them, very fertile, very good. So the few pairs I've made of them, they're doing great. But the exhibition birds have been back into the flights, the ones that didn't breed, and also the spares and surplus before. They're all back in the flights. They're now separated at this point and they're being built up. The plan is to then repair in the first weekend in March. Second weekend, sorry. First weekend will be the Stafford bird sale. Won't be able to have time to do then. So it'll be the second weekend and we'll get all the cages back to being fully paired up and go full steam ahead. Okay, so something I always look at is the birds at different stages. So first of all, you want to see how the chicks are looking in the nest. The very first thing is, have they hatched and are they healthy looking? Because you can get death, you can get birds that don't get fed, you can get deformities, you can get birds that are quite weak, so they will then struggle. So first of all, that initial step, are they healthy? If so, great, box ticked. The next stage then is, are they growing at the right speed? So usually within the first few days, you'll see them grow rapidly, and then it starts to slow down. But once they've got that mass on them and the shape and the size to them, they start to slow down. But again, you want to see that the crops are full, they're healthy, they're happy chicks. You want to be able to ring it at the right age, and by ringing it at the right age, you've then got a track of it and you've been able to keep a record of it. And then after that, you'll start to see coloration coming. Some of these things you can tell right from the day it's hatched. We'll go into those things in a few other episodes, but one of the factors, which I mentioned in another previous episode, was about cinnamons. They're born with a plum eye. And obviously then you've got varieties like albinos, lucinos, lacewings, the three different fallows, they all have a red eye. You would see that straight away in the nest and know that it's one of those. You won't know exactly what colour of the variety it is, but you know the variety. So again, first of all, has it hatched? Okay. Is it being fed? Okay. Great. Has it got up to ringing age at the right speed and the right age? Have you been able to ring it okay? Then you'll see coloration. Once you're starting to see some coloration come through, you'll start to see where feather is coming. I like to look for width. I like to look for the length of mask already, and sometimes just the sheer size. Some of them you will see they are bigger than others, and theoretically they are the ones to look out for. I think the important thing when you're trying to breed exhibition budgerigars is, again, when they're feathered up, you're looking at certain features. So you're looking at the width across the eye. Is that feather already at that stage going that way? how deep is the mask feathering, which you'll see because it'll be white or yellow, whereas you'll then have a body colour on the bird. So you want to see how long that's coming down. Again, the sheer presence of the bird, the size of the bird. And there's a few other factors then that you want to look at. Sometimes you can see how good the spots are going to be at a very young age. Sometimes you can see if it's going to be flecked or clean, if it's going to have certain faults. And they're the things you want to assess. So first of all, this is the first stage. Check them out in the nest box. After that, we personally then take them down to the end of the bird room, where there's 4 double stock cages now. There used to be, we'd made our own built ones, but now there's 4 double stock cages. They'll go into there into batches, so the first batch goes into the bottom. Once that cage is full, they get moved up. The bottom cage is cleaned out, filled up again, and so on until all 4 are full. Once all 4 are full, the top cage, which is then the oldest, depending on how the season's gone, it could only be a week's difference, could be a month, could be 2 months, depending on, like now, we've had a slow start, but it could be a small or big period of time difference. But that top cage will then go into a small aluminium flight. The small aluminium flight is then the stage before the large flights that are across the front of the bird room. So they've been assessed here, they get assessed into the young bird cages, they then get assessed again when they're in the aluminium trolleys, and then from the trolleys it's then make or break. Do I like you for colour? Do I like you for quality? Are you off a particular pair that I've only bred 1 or 2 out of, so you might want to run them on? And there's a few factors there. So it's not always about just is it a best in show bird, because those birds are very rare. So you're looking for these features to make it a bird you want to run on and breed with yourself, or to show. So anything that doesn't make the grade obviously could still be an attractive bird, a pretty bird. It would make a nice bird for another breeder maybe. Make a nice bird to go into someone's aviary or flight just as a fun bird, something that they won't maybe breed with. Your birds, if they aren't making a show bird, it doesn't mean they're bad. There's still a use for them. They can be given to people, within the hobby for different reasons. It doesn't mean they're bad. So we're all aiming for that best in show bird when you're breeding exhibition birds. It's very rare that happens. You talk to anyone, they might have 1 or 2 birds that wins for them throughout the show season, and they have got other good birds, but it's then 1 or 2 that do the main of the winning, and that's what we're looking for. That star player. But you also need stock behind that. Yes, you want a few star players, but you need some stock for the following breeding season. So again, that's where looking at them at this stage, looking at them when they've come away from the parents and they're feeding themselves, and then maybe a bit later, if you've got somewhere else to put them before they go into the flight, which is what we do, they'll go into the trolley and we'll assess them 1 more time. That still doesn't mean it's going to stay or be used, because again, once that big flight is full of youngsters, hopefully, which usually happens, this year might be a bit different, but usually that flight gets full of youngsters, and then it's, actually now we've put even more from that bloodline in, we've put even more of that variety in, we can move some on. So that's a great position to be in. But it all depends how your season goes. It depends how many you get off a certain pair, how many you breed of a certain variety. We all want numbers, we all want the best birds, but it really isn't that easy. So here is the first stage that I mentioned about. This pair had 7 fertile eggs. 1 unfortunately has gone wrong, but there are 2 here that have then hatched, along with 4 more fertile eggs to hatch. Now at this stage, again, like I say, are they healthy looking? Have they been fed? And this mother's actually on her 2nd round. She's doing another great job keeping the birds fed. Even that one looks freshly born, full of food. That's great, a great sign to see. So this nest here is actually a colour budgerigar nest, the miniatures. There's 3 of their chicks and 1 that I've moved in that's an exhibition. Now this is the exhibition. You can already see it's a broader, bigger youngster, whereas these are the colour budgerigars. A major factor straight away that you'll notice on the colour budgerigars is how small the skull is, how slimline that face is. That's obviously a feature of those birds. They're very agile and very small, and that's what you'll notice straight away. So there's one normal off that pair, there's a nice bright violet, and there's 2 pieds. Very lightly marked, for saying that the dad is a perfect example of a pied, but they are very lightly marked. I think where this has happened is the mother probably is split recessive pied that was unknown to me, but when I've done this in the past by pairing a dominant pied to a normal, and you get birds like this, you then test mate the other bird and you find out that it's split recessive. But there you can see that's the exhibition. That's actually about 3 or 4 days younger than those, but it's quite a lot bigger. Now this nest here is actually an exhibition nest, so this is now the other way compared to the previous nest that I've shown. This is 3 exhibition chicks, 1, 2 and 3, and then 1 colour budgerigar. The colour budgerigar is actually the same age as this bird, but you can see the head is very narrow, and just the sheer size, the presence of that bird, that's going to be a very small slimline bird, whereas this one, it's broad, it's big, it's got some nice weight to it at this age, which is good. It's always nice to see them at a good weight and a good size at this age, and you can start to see where certain features will be. And I can clearly see straight away the variety of this bird. It's an opaline. Now this is a nest of colour budgerigars, the miniatures. The father is a normal mauve cock, split white wing and split German fallow. And then the mother is a white wing, golden face, sky blue, split German fallow. Now the 5 chicks that they're raising, they have got another one elsewhere, but the 5 chicks they're raising are all different colours, which is the beauty of the colour budgerigars. Joy of all budgies, to be honest, but colour budgerigars do seem to give you a wide choice of different colours due to what they seem to carry and be split for. A lot of people are pairing everything to everything with these because they make really pretty, attractive birds. So there's 1 golden face, very striking. I actually, already at this stage, I actually think that might be slightly too big. We're talking millimetres, because these are supposed to be very small, streamlined birds. This one, the face is very, very small, the mask is nice and tucked in, and it's a beautiful colour. That's a white wing. This one that keeps trying to escape, this is a German fallow, white wing, golden face. Very clean looking, does have the red eyes, and then the rump colour will be dark once that molts through. That looks a nice sized bird again, nice and small. There's 1 just normal German fallow. These are very pretty and attractive birds. And then the youngest one is a normal, but it's a white face, whereas the oldest one is a golden face. This nest here, there's 4 chicks again. 4's our happy number per nest. I think this gives the hen plenty of work to do by having 4 chicks to look after, but it's not too much. Some people are having 5s and 6s, which is great. If the pair will raise them, let them raise them. But to try and not burn out the hens too fast, I think giving them 4 is a good number. 3 is not too bad, but again 3 might not be as demanding. And definitely 1s and 2s won't create enough demand for the hen, and sometimes the hens get fed up or bored. So 4 seems to be a good number. Now this chick was actually fostered in. This is a normal blue, and I can see straight away that's not going to be no world beater. But the main reason for that is the father is actually a black wing. It's slightly bigger than the colour budgerigar black wings. It's quite big in comparison, but it's still nowhere near a decent exhibition size. But the mother is actually a decent light green exhibition bird. So that is split black wings, and it will be better than the normal black wings, but still miles off being a decent exhibition bird. Now these 3 are actually off the pair that they're being raised by. And this is obviously quite young. You're not really seeing the pins come through on this one yet. But again, at this age, does it look healthy? Yes. Is it well fed? Yes. Is it a happy little chick? Yes. It's ticking all the boxes, and I can see it's going to be an opaline. That's all I need to know at that stage. A couple of days older, you're seeing the sprouts come through, the feathers there. Again, you can see the colour, but it's looking at these features. Is it going to be wide? Is it going to have a decent mass? And the older they get, like here's another one 2 days older again, you start to see a bit more change again. You're looking at where them feathers are going. And then I would guess within the next 4 or 5 days, I'll really know how these are going to look. So just give them time. Initially at this stage, it's all about, are they healthy, are they happy, and are they being fed? So these 2 cages here currently are full of babies from the first round. There is 2 adults in there in the bottom cage on the left. Second bird in on the perch is actually a very old, easily clear body. He's been put in there to hopefully help feed the chicks. He's always been a good father when we've used him in the past. And this bird will be actually given away to a friend soon, within the next few weeks. But he's there to hopefully help just feed and just show and encourage the birds where to eat from. In the cage above there is a yellow-faced cinnamon that was bred last year. He's actually in that cage at the moment because he's had a fight with another cockbird from the flight cage, and I just wanted to separate him and give him a chance to recover from the bit of a hiding that he took. But as you can see, the 2 cages are full. Not many compared to normal because all 4 cages are normally full. There's 4 of these stock cages. But at least we have some chicks. There's a few nice ones to look at. I think there's 1 or 2 that are worth keeping my eye on quality wise. And there will be, unfortunately, some to move on as always. You're never going to breed all showwinners. At this stage, because they've been taken away from the parents, I like to see that they're active, they're eating, they're chewing and eating and destroying the millet sprays. That's more like a natural instinct. You want to see that kick in. And as long as they're doing that, they're eating, they're perching, they're active, they're chewing and destroying millet sprays, happy days. When they first come away from the parents, they go into this lower cage. This is the first stage that they come away from the parents. And there's a tray with no legs, so the seed is fed onto that tray. Whereas the cage above and the others will all be the normal trays that are lifted off the floor. The idea with this again is to encourage them to eat just for those first few days, few weeks, however long they might be in there, just to get them going and to make sure again they're eating and they're active and they're happy. So just standing here looking at these, obviously there's a colour budgerigar running about there, but all the others are exhibitions. There's only 2 colour budgerigars that have made it to the nursery cage so far. But again, are they eating? Are they active? Are they happy? They've lost some of the puppy fat now at this stage because they are fending for themselves. So again, that's a stage that you want to assess them because they'll go a little bit backwards sometimes. They'll go a bit slim. They don't look as beefy or as nice as they did in the nest box. So just keep your eye on them and assess them. Whether you make mental notes or you make physical notes, write it down in a book, keep a tab on your phone, whatever it might be. Make a note of the ones you like, the ones you don't like. Some people grade them. All depend on what you think, but if you keep in mind which ones you liked at this stage and then have a look at them again when they get further on. So I've just picked these 3 out to do a quick video on. These are 3 from the first round that I like, I'm keeping an eye on. All from 3 different pairs, which is nice. One on the left is a golden faced sky blue cock. Really like the size and shape of him, good length of mass. I'm hoping his spots get better than how they appear now because his father's got absolutely fantastic spots, but the mother has got slightly smaller spots. So that's something to keep in mind, but everything else is ticking boxes. Good size bird, good quality, gorgeous colour, one for the future. The hen in the centre, cinnamon cobalt hen, she's off a grey cock to a dominant pied dark green hen. Didn't actually know that the cock was split cinnamon, first time using him and he was off 2 normals. But she's come out and she's a good one, so that's great. Again, a lovely shape to her. Then the one on the right is a Texas clear body, yellow faced sky blue cock. This guy I really like, he's pulling a bit there, Again, a lovely shape, lovely length. I mean, good length of mass, lovely clean cap. Another one to keep an eye on for the future. Okay, so that's the end of this episode, assessing the first round of this year's youngsters. I'll do some more videos so you can see the progress of some of these birds. The 3 birds that I selected that I like, I'll keep a track on them as well. Obviously give some progressional videos, how they are once they get into the big flight, how they are when they're fully molted out, and hopefully how they become when they've made it to adulthood. So that'll be worth watching. It's always nice to see the progression, and it's knowing your birds. This is something, again, try and see them at this stage, keep a note of them at the next stage, keep a note of them when they make it to the flight. And if you can, now with the technology, take some photos, because there will be certain families that mature later than others. There'll be certain families that look amazing straight away. And this is the thing where it's knowing which ones do that, because again, if some of them look just okay initially, come later down the line, you've said, oh, they can go, I can move them on. Another breeder gets them, 12 months down the line, hi Sam, just to let you know, paired them birds up, they look fantastic. Those birds could be the ones that have matured a bit later on. I'm not saying a very small bird becomes a best in show bird. That never ever happens. But a good bird could become very good. And an average bird could become good. So it depends what you want. And I always say, keep an eye on your hens. Keep as many young hens as you can. They're the driving force for this part of the hobby. You need young hens and a good amount of them for your breeding team. So always keep an eye on that. Try and keep as many as you can within your limits, obviously, with how many birds you can house, and also how many you want to house. Don't keep 100 birds if you only want to keep 40. Don't keep 700 birds if you only want to keep 100. Know your limits, know what's working for you, and just enjoy it. That's the main thing. Always make this part of the hobby fun. It's lovely to see chicks. It's lovely to see when you pair a pair up, to then get eggs, to see that they're fertile, to see that they're packed, they're being fed, and then they come up to be in their age where they're coloured up and you can see what colour and what quality they are. It's such a great feeling, such a great part of the hobby. Please do enjoy it and please do make the most of it. I'm going to do some more episodes on different things. Something that people keep asking about is red mite prevention. That is something that we do massively, and we do quite a few different factors on to do with that. So keep an eye out for that video. That'll be coming out soon. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.